2, George Vetus. Our 2015 wide receivers. This time I'd like to invite Coach Dante Daniels up to talk about our 2 seniors. Hello? All right. So I don't have anything wrote down. I don't have a bunch of stats or nothing like that. So if I start going long, somebody just give me the wrap it up signal or something. There we go. First of all, I do want to say, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to coach these guys, not just the seniors, but everybody, and even past the wide receivers, but just all the players on this team. It's definitely a family atmosphere. So I just appreciate being a part of that. As far as these 2 gentlemen over here, I'll start off with Jared Russ. So when I started coaching here, I want to say Jared was a sophomore in the spring of his sophomore year. I'm going to be totally honest. To say the least, I just don't think he was that good at that point in time. And I told him that, so, But one of the things I'm most proud of with him is, he came back his junior year, and he was a heck of a player. I could see it just from the start, coming in camp. You could tell that he had really worked to make himself better. And I think everybody recognized it, right off the top. A lot of the defensive backs were scared to go up against him in one-on-ones and whatnot, and they all won't admit it, but I know. And he was just making play after play after play to where at first it was just like, oh man, that was a great lucky play. But then it would happen again the next day, and it would happen again the next day, and it kind of became routine. And we even started calling him D1 because basically meaning that he should have been at a Division I college because he was just that good at making so many plays. Again, one thing I do appreciate about Jared is just he was very respectful, from the start. Everything was always yes sir, no sir. If I would tell him something to help him get better, you could tell that he would really take it and own it and really try to work at everything, right? So, anything that he got as far as how much he played and how much he got the ball and things like that, he earned that. Nobody gave it to him. He definitely put the work in himself, and he became the player that he was because of his effort and because of all the work he put in. And like I said, I just really appreciate that. I think that, with his attitude and kind of his effort, he can go a lot of places in life, because that translates away from football. Just in general, if you kind of try hard and you have a good attitude about it, you can do a lot of things, and I think he will. Another thing that he does bring a lot of swag to our wide receiver group. That was kind of one of the things he was known for. He did become a very kind of silent leader of that group and helping the young guys. And so, again, I just want to tell him, I appreciate coaching you and just all the things he did to contribute to this team. Another guy over here, George Vetus. So a little bit of a different story. When I first started, George was studying abroad. The only thing I knew about him was that he was our leading receiver from the year before. So I didn't know too much about these guys. I just kind of knew some numbers and whatnot. So I had a lot of expectations for George coming in. And then, like I said, when I got there, he wasn't there because, he had a school thing going on, so nothing bad. Once his junior year came, George was having a pretty good camp, and then he got hurt. And, I think that kind of derailed him a little bit, right? Because I know the expectations that he had for himself. We talked about it, and I know how good he wanted to be. And so getting hurt his junior year, I think that really took a toll on him. And it was frustrating for him because he couldn't do the things that he knew that he normally could do. And he didn't make excuses about it. He didn't, complain about it. He just kept working. He just kept trying hard. And then going into his senior year, I think that, he had put a lot of work in the summer, in the spring, to make himself even better, to try to get to where he ultimately, wanted to be and get up to his level of ability. I don't think it started off as good as he wanted it to, right? And we talked about it. And one thing I told him is just, trust all the hard work that you put in, because nobody put that in for you, right? Like nobody, gave him anything or did anything like that. Like, he had just put in so much work, and I just told him, you got to trust that, and that's what you can hang your hat on. And I don't know what it was, but at some point in the season, something must have just really clicked, because I want to say at about the halfway point of his senior year, and maybe it was just, being a senior and knowing that you only have a few weeks left to play. But I mean, when I would watch the tape of a game and just watching George and the way that he played, I mean, he really, truly was amazing on the field. And I'm not talking just his stats or his catches or his touchdowns, but just the way that he played. You could tell that, everybody on the team and the whole offense really mattered to him. He was really playing not just for him, but for everybody else. I mean, he was being super aggressive, being super physical, and just playing very smart, right? And I think that, because of that, because he never gave up on himself, once everything started to click, then, really, really good things just started to happen. I used to work with Coach Green, and just a funny thing, we'd be at work and we'd be kind of talking about the players, and for whatever reason, we'd always just be talking about how good George is. Like, just out of nowhere, and we'd talk about all the receivers, and just out of nowhere in the conversation, we just say, man, like, George is just really, really good. I mean, and it was day in and day out, and just bringing that same thing every day. So, George, I want to say I really do appreciate that. I think that George was a leader by the way that he did things. He wasn't a rah-rah guy. And, he didn't do it by talking. He did it by his play on the field. And like I said, it was every day. It wasn't just game day. It was, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, you name it. He always came ready to go. He always came ready to give his best effort. And I think that's how you become great, and that's how you win. I mean, as a family, everybody doing that, that's the example that you want to follow. And so I think he did a great job with that. Like I said, I mean, I really appreciate it and being able to coach him. So to both of these guys, like I said, kind of different journeys or paths or whatever from my point of view, but like I said, I just really appreciate what both of you guys did. I got separate relationships with both of you guys, but we talk about it and whatnot, and you guys are both great. So I appreciate it. Give them a round of applause.
Two things that are very unique